Hello, this is Rami Shafiq. I'll be covering the section of the Project 1 assignment that I was selected to do. A lot of the files and folders were from the slides from previous, or not slides, from previous lectures. I'll be covering what I personally did and alterations. I did not start a new Express. This was downloaded from the files in the lectures. Over here we have our index.egs. And one thing I want to mention before starting, I decided not to have a partials folder for the header, navbar, and the footer. As of now, at least, I'm only using one page, and it didn't make sense for me to have multiple pages for these separate bits. I decided to just have it on just one page. Within the head tag of the index.egs, we have our style sheet over here, our link to our style sheet over here. And then within the body tag, we start off with the nav bar. Within this image over here, this belonged to one of my group members, as he has a detailing brand of his own, and so we used his logo for it. There was no need to search the web for one, and so that worked out great. Within the head tag, we have decided to use class instead of IDs. Simply just it was more convenient to type out. That's the gist of it. We have I separated the sections within the header within divs, and then the first div would be the general head tag, and then the other div would be the links over here. And I'll cover the styles and all that later within the explanation. After that, we have our header, which I just decided to give the class hero simply because it was a lot more easier to type out. There was no other reason for that. Within the header over here, we have the logo as well as a H1 description of or what the website is, and just a general phrase down here to kind of make it seem more professional. Um, and then under that, we have our package cards or package deals, whatever you want to refer it to. We have our regular package, deluxe package, premium package. They're all the same, like program wise. The descriptions are different, and that's why I decided to have them different. When coding them, I decided to give them the same classes all throughout. I didn't want to separate them into different card packages, like card package one, card package two, card package three, just because it made it more simple. Within that section, that's the end of that section. The other section that we have is a contact section or a contact me section, um, which would ask the user for their name, email, messages. Here, I'm gonna just do this. Um, that way, they can stay in contact with us and whatnot. And then the footer, obviously, it was just a simple at copyright 2025 car detailing system. I did, that's didn't really have any reason or like reason to just name it that. It was just the most simple thing. And then at the end of our code, we have the link to our JS system. Within this index.js, this was uh, what was in the previous in the this was the to get to route to the home page. So when you press home, it routes to the home page. Over here within the car detailing system.js, I decided to do a mapping in the sense that if I were to click on something here or here or here, it would just map through the page. This code specifically allows it to smoothly transition to those sections of the page, simply because it was uh, I didn't want it to just move directly into the page because it didn't seem as smooth, it didn't seem as nice, it didn't seem as professional. I decided to have it smooth into those, or like kind of transition into those sections of the pages. Um, and within the whole thing is placed within a function. And within that function, there's a console log to let you know that the script is active over here. Um, and then within our CSS file, a lot of it was there wasn't really rhyme or reason. A lot of it was just trial and error, whatever I thought looked best. Um, we have our entire body section, which I decided to give the Arial font, and the background color to be white. I don't know why specifically this white, but it was the closest I could have. Yeah, it's whatever. Just trial and error, I guess. Whatever color I felt. Um, Within the nav bar, we have it. I decided to have the display to be flex, so that there's not a set. Um, there's not a set, width that it has to be. So I could just keep it as, determine as the page, it determines on the width of the page. Um, and then a lot of as going down here, a lot of it was just trial and error with the sizing, and no particular, like, there wasn't a specific reason. It was just trial and error and whatever looked better on the page. And one thing I want to cover is over here with the hover. I specifically made it so that if I hover over the links, it would turn blue instead of a different shade of white. I felt that it would make more sense to go as a more vibrant color, um, usually when you hover. But I also felt that if I made these uh, links or even the text over here darker, it wouldn't look as clear and as nice on the page. So I decided to just go with a different color completely and decided to choose blue because it's more in theme with the rest of the website, especially with the logo. And then as you go down here, a lot of, again, same thing with the colors. It was a lot of just whatever color made more sense and just figuring out which one made, I preferred more. Same thing with the sizes and fonts, and the packages as well with the texts. Decided not to have it ordered at one side and more directly centered. There was no reason for that. It just I thought it looked better than just having it to the right. Um, and again, I have the display set to flex, so that way it adjusts naturally to the size of the web page, to its width. Um, what else? And then yeah, again, going through the the website, a lot of it was figuring out what color made sense, what looks better on the page, with like slight hover on this one. Decided to go with a darker color because already in this section it was a very light color, so I went a slightly darker color to let you know that you're hovering over the card. Um, Over here, as you can see, and then with the contact down here, similar stuff. A lot of it was just filling in what just looked better on the page, and setting the width to flex as it made more sense to not just set it to a certain width. Um, as I When doing that in previous projects, it looked a little sloppy and it was a little hard to get through that. And then as we go down here again, a lot of it footer, no particular reason. It just looked through trial. They just looked at it through trial and error.
Hello, my name is Saad, and in this video, I'll be explaining my contribution to our final web and script project. My responsibility for part one was to implement the full CRUD functionality for the card detailing service packages. So that includes setting up the MongoDB model for packages, writing the routes that create, read, update, and delete packages, and building the EGA's views for listing, adding, and editing packages. Before we start with the code um, walkthrough, I'll first quickly demo how my part works in the browser, and then I'll walk through the code in detail. So starting off, as you can see, is our landing page. So this is Rami's contributions. If we head over to the packages, As you can see, this is the packages admin page. So what the admin sees. All the packages you see here are being loaded from our MongoDB Atlas database. The table shows each package's name, description, price, along with buttons to edit or delete each one. So if you wanted to add a package, there's an add package button at the top that allows the admin to create a new package. So if you were to add a package, click add a package, then here we can type in the name, the details, and the price of the package. So for example, we can do premium interior. For package details, we could put in full exterior clean, shampoo, and engine bay clean. And for the price, we can do 100. So then when I submit the form, this server takes this data, creates a new document in the packages collection in MongoDB, and then redirects me back to the packages page. As you can see now, the new packages now appear in the table, as you can see right here. So a part of the keyword operation, I also have to edit package. So if right here, you can see about the font awesome icon. If you click edit right here, you can change each table. So notice that the fields are pre-filled with the existing values from the database. And if I change the prices or descriptions and click save, so if I take out engine bay clean, and I change this to 80 and save, the server updates the document in MongoDB and sends me back to that list where I can see the updated values. Lastly, we have the delete package. So if I click delete on the row, then you can see that the package is removed from the database and disappears from the table. So this completes my full CRUD cycle, create, read, update, and delete packages for my contributions, the package services. Now, moving on to my contributions in the code. Now, I'll walk through the code that makes all of this work, starting with the data model. So this file, package.js, so I follow the structure of the professor. So all of the structure you see on the left is the same as the professor structure. So as you can see, you can find the package.js under the model, under the servers. And it defines overall, this file defines the schema for a package in our MongoDB database. So here, as you can see, I import mongoose and then I define a schema called package model. Each package has a name as a string, a description as a string, and a price as a number. In the second argument, I specify collection packages, which tells Mongoose to use the packages collection in MongoDB. Finally, I export the model using mongoose.model package model. This lets the rest of my application use package to query and modify package documents. Before I move on to the config files, the config app.js file, I'll quickly do a brief demonstration of my db.js file and my .env file. So our MongoDB Atlas connection is configured through db.js and the env file. In the env file, I store the actual connection string under a variable like connection string, and that file is ignored by Git, so my password isn't exposed. So this connection string comes straight from my Atlas cluster in my new quite detailed DB database that I created. In db.js, we call mongoose.connect a connection string to connect to MongoDB when the app starts. Once the connection is established, all the queries from the package model go to the Atlas cluster. Now moving on to the app.js under the routes. So overall, this I changed a couple of things. I added a couple of things. So in app.js, I registered my routes. So Express knows which files to use for the slash packages. So as you remember, if you go to the website, and if you type in slash packages as an admin, then the website needs to know, Express needs to know which file to access to use for that, right? So if you can see the var packages router right here, um, and the app.use packages, so right here, this line means that any request starting with slash packages will be handled by the router defined in the server routes package.js. And then here, it's the same as configuring the database. So I just follow the professor for this part. And then these are the set routes for our pages in the routes. And I also just added this right here for so the font awesome in the Bootstrap works. Or anything else, jQuery, Popper, JS, whatever is used. So once again, just follow the professor. So now I'll explain the packages.js, which would make these more understandable. So moving on to the packages.js. So here is sorry, this is the core of my backend logic for the packages feature. So this file, it defines all the routes needed to manage my packages in MongoDB. So starting from the top, I start by importing the Express, creating a router instance, importing Mongoose, and then requiring my package model. This router object is what I export and mount in app.js under slash packages. Then, first one is the read object, which displays all the packages. It lists all the models, packages, sorry. This is the get packages. So it reads all the packages from the database, and to go through my code, I mark the function as async so I can use await. Inside the try block, I call package.find right here, which then package.find sends a query to MongoDB asking for all documents in the packages collection. The result, which is an array of package objects, which is stored in the package list. Then I call the res render package list to render the list.egs file. I pass in a title for the page and the package list array so the EGS file can loop through it and build a table. If something goes wrong, for example, if the database is down, I catch the error, log it, and render the same view with an error message. Moving on, we have the create object. So this route, it handles the get packages add. So it shows add form. It's responsible for displaying the empty add form to the admin. So when you go into the packages, you see an empty add form. When you click add package, you see an empty add form. And there's no MongoDB operation here. It simply just renders the packages slash add.egs and passes the page title. And once again, as same as the beginning, it has a catch error as well. Moving on, we have our create process add form. So this is a little different than the display add form. Here, this route, it handles the form submission from the add page using post slash packages slash add. So when the user submits the form, so when we add a package and we submit the form, the values they typed are available in the rec.body. So I construct a new package object using rec.body.name right here. and rec.body.description and rec.bodyPrice. Then I call package create new package, which inserts a new document into the package collection in MongoDB. After the insert is successful, I call the redirect packages. So the admin is taken back to the list page and can immediately see the new package in the table after submitting the package. Once again, if there's an error, I'll log it and show an error message. Moving on to the update show edit form. Right here, the update display edit form. This get package edit ID route displays the edit form for a specific package. The ID part in the URL is a route parameter right here. I read it using the rec.params.id and store it in the ID, right? Then I call package.findById, which queries MongoDB for the document whose ID matches that value. Once I have that document, I render the package's edit.ejs and pass it in the package as a package. The EJS file uses this object to pre-fill the form fields with existing names, descriptions, and price. Moving on, we have the update process edit form. Here, here it handles the submission of the edit form. So once you edit, if you want to go back into add package, you edit it, right? Once you edit it, this part is what handles after the result of the edit. So I read the package ID from the rec params ID, just like from before. I then build an updated package object using the values from rec.body. I call the package.findById and update, which tells MongoDB to locate the document with that ID and update its field with the provided values. Once the update is complete, I redirect back to packages to show the updated table. Any errors are caught and pass to the next error handler. So that is how you edit package. Lastly, we have the delete remove package. So this route implements the delete operation. So if the admin wants to delete a package, it is mapped to the get packages delete ID. So to start, I read the ID from the URL and then call the package delete one ID, which removes the one record from that database. So this ID right here is our package, and if you delete one, this removes the ID. Afterwards, I redirect back to the list page. With this route, the admin can delete packages using the red trash button on the UI, which is a red trash button which is coming from Font Awesome, right? Now, that's all for the C-word operations in packages.js. Moving on to the views EJS for list, add, and edit. Starting off with the list. So as in every file we have under the views folder, we have the include partial header EJS and include partial main nav EJS and the include partial footer.ejs. So wherever we go, we will always see the header, the nav bar, and the footer. Meaning the header, meaning all the links, all the files that are linked will be implemented no matter where you go. And the main nav, you see the nav bar, and the footer, you see the footer in the bottom. And this is for every edit, add, and list. So for the list, this template, it displays the packages table. So as I said, I include my header navigation partials, so the layout is consistent. And inside the main content, I show the page title using title, and I provide an add package button that links to packages add. Right here. As you can see, if you go down here, we have a for loop. So this for loop is to iterate to the package list array that I pass from the route. For each package, I output the name, description, and price into the table. I also built the edit, delete links by including the package's ID in the URL. This connects the list page to the edit and deletes the route I showed earlier. Next up, we have the add.egs. So this is the form that creates a new package that you add. This page contains three main form fields. So it's the package name, the package details, and the package price, as you can see right here. The important part here is the name attributes. So the name, description, and price. Those names match exactly what I read in the post/add route using rec.body.name, rec.body.description, and rec.body.price. When the form is submitted, the data flows from this page into the server and then into MongoDB. Lastly, we have the edit.egs file. So this form is used for updating an existing package. The structure is almost the same as the add form, but instead of being empty, the fields are pre-filled with current values of the package. So here, package is the object I pass from the get edit ID route. I use package.name, package.description, and package.price to fill in the existing value so the admin can see and modify them. When the user submits the form, the new values are sent to the POST edit ID route, which updates the document in MongoDB. Overall, those were my contributions to my part of project part one. I other than the GitHub commits, I did a couple of GitHub commits and documentations. I helped create the outline of the project part one plan. Um, yeah, and so overall, to summarize my findings today, my contributions, I defined the package mongoose model and connected to the package collections in MongoDB Atlas. I showed my implementation of all the routes in the routes package.js for creating, reading, updating, and deleting packages, and in the building the EGS views, so the list.egs, add.egs, and edit.egs that let the admin manage those packages through our web interface. Together, this provided a complete CRUD system for managing car detailing server packages. And that concludes my part of the project. Thank you for watching.
Hi, my name is Rashad, and this is my contribution towards our Project One for our car detailing website. I did the bookings and appointments, which implemented CRUD. And let me go here and do a test run. So if you go here and click Add Bookings, you can see you can give a customer name. So you go with test2, phone number, email, the make and model of the car, as well as the plate, and then a package. As you drop down here, we can choose. Go here and select the date, and then we have a duration in hours, and then some notes if you want to add any. Once you do that, you can go ahead and hit create. And also, if stuff isn't filled out, it'll give you a validation error. Once you click create, we see that it's right here. Pops up right here. Let's say I want to go ahead and edit this one I made. Edit. We can change the name. Let's say you want to change the package to full service, or let's go basic wash. Hit save. You see that it was updated. Let's go ahead and talk about the back end of how all this works. So going into our app.js, right here, these two. These two, what they do is they import the booking from the router. So from our routes file, this right here is what imports it. And this basically means that I'm grabbing the code that handles the booking, like viewing bookings, creating the bookings, editing them from the routes and bookings.js file. So instead of writing all the booking routes in app.js, I just record them right here. And it's the same for the app.use booking routes. So this attaches the router to the main app. It basically says that any request that starts with /booking should be handled by the bookings router. Without these two lines, the booking system wouldn't work at all, and the app wouldn't even know where to send booking related requests. And then moving on down to our bookings.js file, which is in our routes. This is where all our CRUD is implemented. We can go ahead and see that this file defines the Mongoose booking model, imports Mongoose, declares a schema that describes how booking documents are stored, the customer name, phone, email, vehicle, make, model, plate, and the chosen package, the date, all of that. So moving down, we can see that it handles all the CRUD operations for the booking system, except we didn't really implement the delete one for this as we have it for the other one. So this booking, it first loads Express and the booking model, then it uses the get route, reads all the bookings from MongoDB, sorts them by date, and sends them to the EJS list view. The get/add route simply displays the form for creating a new booking, and then the post/add route actually processes the form. It checks for required fields, like I mentioned before, builds a new booking object from the form, data like the customer info, vehicle details, etc. And then with booking.create, it redirects them back to the list for updating bookings. The get/edit ID loads the existing booking by data by its ID and sends it to the edit form so the user can change it. Well, not the user, the admin. And the post/edit route takes those changes and rebuilds the updated booking object and applies changes in MongoDB using find by ID and update. So together, these routes manage a full flow of reading bookings, creating them, and then updating existing ones, and they connect the MongoDB model with the EJS front end pages. So you can see here we also have the try and catch errors. Moving on to our views file. Here we have our bookings add.ejs. So this is what creates all the buttons. So this is the form page that is used to create a new booking. It contains all the input fields that match the booking model, including customer details and stuff like I mentioned before. And then the booking/add route uses a post request, which the server then processes to create a new booking document in MongoDB. Required fields like customer name, phone, package, and date are marked with required to prevent empty submissions. The package dropdown provides fixed options, and packages are stored as plain strings. The package ends with a submit button to create the booking and a link that takes the user back to the bookings list. So we saw the create button, that's our submit button. In our edit.ejs file, it displays a pre-filled form from which we have created using the add.ejs file, and it allows an admin to update an existing booking. It receives a booking object from the server and injects all current values into the input fields so the user can see and edit the existing customer info. The package and status dropdown automatically selects the option that matches the booking's current values, and the booking date is formatted into date time format so it displays correctly in the browser when the form is being submitted. It sends a post request to the bookings edit ID, which triggers the update route to save all changes back into MongoDB. A backlink at the bottom allows users to return back to the booking list without editing. So let's say they didn't want to make an edit change, they can just go right back. Lastly, we got our list.ejs file. This essentially just displays all the create buttons, all that stuff. So it displays in like a table format. It loops through booking list array passed from the server and shows key details for each booking, including customer name, phone, and the selected service package, the booking date formatted for readability, and the current status. Each row also includes edit and delete links so the user can update or remove a booking. And at the top, there's an add booking link that takes the user to the add form. So overall, this page just serves as the main interface for viewing and managing all the booking in the system, so it allows for the edit and add.ejs. As we can see here in the MongoDB, it's not fully up to date yet, but we can see that the object that we have added from the website has been imported into here. That's where it gets stored. And that's it for my contribution. Thank you.